So, one of the most discussed issues throughout the conference involved this communication gap between the smaller provinces and the larger provinces, such that it seemed like the larger provinces were dominating all conversations. Do you think there's been any change since yesterday, and what is Prince Edward Island's stance on that?
Well, obviously, for Prince Edward Island, we do have the smallest population of any territory, of any province, with just over 140,000. So it is hard to get our voices heard. In terms of, I can only really speak on behalf of the First Ministry meeting. I haven't talked to my other delegates, but there were times where we were disappointed with the lack of distribution of comments.
Would you be able to give an example, like elaborate?
So for example, there would be times where there'd be three of us that would have our hands up, us being the maritime provinces, and we'd have to have our hands up for 5-6 minutes, and then once everybody has their opinion in, then they come to us. So we just kind of felt that at times we were kind of pushed aside, but I think it's definitely an improvement from last year. I've done this for 2 years, and I think it's definitely an improvement, and I would like to see that improvement continue to future years.
All right, my last question would just be that over the course of this conference, obviously you came yesterday and you had some goals that you wanted to achieve. So over these 2 days, are you happy with the results, or are you unhappy with anything? What's your overall opinion on this conference?
There were certain topics that I think went through and we were thrilled about. So for example, we have a clear set goal as to what we want to negotiate NAFTA, and I think it was very fair. I totally agree with it. There were certain topics that I am extremely disappointed about. For example, one of the topics that we were to discuss in First Ministry, as I'm sure you would know, is illegal immigrants and our refugee policy. We didn't touch once on the issue of illegal immigration. This is an issue I feel very passionate about, being that I am one of the border provinces. I think this administration, as I said in my opening speech, continues to undermine what it means to have a refugee status, and they're letting people pour into our borders, so security is just not there, and it's going to get worse. I spoke with my Minister for Indigenous Affairs, and we were very disappointed with the progress that was made in that room. They discussed a summer camp plan, which is basically to incorporate both Indigenous people with the rest of Canadians. This is temporary change. We came to this conference with one goal in mind, as I'm sure everybody else did, and that was to make permanent, meaningful, real change for our Indigenous friends. Just show them how thankful we are. And I don't think that was met. I think that it was temporary change, and when it's all said and done, I think we're just going to be at the same issues that we come to every year.
Right.